Hi guys, Jamie Humphries here for Six String Alliance, and today we are taking a look at the Wampler Belle Overdrive pedal. So in today's demo video, we're taking a look at the Wampler Belle Overdrive, which is based on the classic Nobels ODR-1 pedal. Now the Belle is a low to medium gain overdrive pedal, and it also works as a great transparent boost. You can either use it to boost a slightly driven amp or an existing overdrive pedal. Now, although the Belle Overdrive is based on the Nobels ODR-1, it is not a clone. This is Brian Wampler's own take on that classic circuit, and like many other pedals in the Wampler range, you can always expect to find a few extra features under the hood, and you can expect the same with the Belle Overdrive. So before we have a listen to the Belle, let's take a look at the layout of the pedal. The Belle is housed in a mini pedal chassis, so it's nice and space saving on your board. Pretty simplistic layout. We only have 4 controls on the front, but as with other Wampler pedals, we have an additional switch on the side. We have the level control, we have the gain control, we have a bass control, and we have a color control. Now, Brian has included the bass control to compensate for when you start to drive the pedal, the original Nobels, it would get quite low-endy. I must admit, this is going on information that I have read up and researched on the Nobels. I've never actually used one, so I don't really want to give you my opinion on comparing this to a Nobels because I've never used one. It's never really been my thing. You're watching the guy that shamefully isn't a fan of the tube screamer. It's just never been my type of pedal. But one thing that I have noticed, I like to run my amps clean pushed. I'm running my mini rec today and I'm on the clean channel, but I'm on the push setting. And one of the things that you do find is when you start to drive amps on the clean channel and start to push them a little bit, they tend to get quite bottom endy and quite boomy. So having this bass control is a great way of controlling that sort of that muffly low end build up that you get when you start to drive an amp on the clean channel or start to clip the amp on the clean channel. The color control basically controls the top end and the low end, and it leaves the mid-range completely intact, and it really works in conjunction with the bass control. So on the side here we have an additional switch that you can push in and out, which controls the different types of clipping and compression. When the switch is out, it's a little bit more like that classic Nobels pedal, but when you push that switch in, for me, you get a little bit more of an open sound. It gives a little bit more gain to the sound, and I must admit I preferred it with the switch in. So first of all, before we have a listen to the pedal, let's just talk a little bit about the gear that I'm using. I'm using my Music Man Axis Super Sport, and I've got Damasio 36th anniversary pickups in this. This is my main guitar. These are pretty low output pickups. I'm running into my Mesa Mini Rec. As I've already mentioned, I'm on the clean channel, but I've got it set to pushed. And then I'm running into the Two Notes Captor X, and I'm using a Celestion Vintage 30 with a condenser. I can't remember what condenser mic I'm using on it, but I'm also using a 57. So I'm using a mixture between a condenser and a dynamic mic. So let's now have a listen to my core tone. As I said, I'm using the clean channel that is pushed. There's a little bit of grunt on my amp sound. So now let's have a listen to the pedal. I've got everything set in the middle apart from the volume. I've got that just pushed ever so slightly. Just drop the gain down slightly. Just drop that down to about 9 o'clock on the gain. So now let's bring the gain control up halfway. Let's push that up to about 3 o'clock. And then let's just push that all the way up. That's a great sounding pedal. Okay, I'm going to bring I'll just bring the overdrive down now to about 3 o'clock, and let's experiment a little bit with the bass control. I'm going to cut the bass all the way out to start with. Start to wind the bass up a bit. A little bit more. Let's start to really push the bass control up. It starts to get a little bit woofy when you push it all the way. Okay, so drop the bass control down. I kind of like that where it was just pulled back ever so slightly. For me, with the way that I've got my amp set up, it tended to just sort of clean the sound up a little bit in terms of not having too much in low end. It had a little bit more definition to it. Let's experiment now with the color control. I'm going to pull that down all the way. Start to wind that up slightly. Up halfway again. Okay, let's just push that up a little bit further. Now all the way up. You can hear you've got quite a wide scoop there with that colour control. I personally like that, just pushing that past 12 o'clock and just dropping the bass down ever so slightly. So now let's kick the switch in the side and have a listen to the different types of clipping and the different compression. I'm going to turn the gain up around about 3 o'clock. So yeah, just pull that bass control back a bit. That was my core sound. Now have a listen to when we push that switch in. Can have a little bit more saturation. I actually really like that sound. Push the gain control up a little bit further. Let's experiment with the color control. Pull that color control down. It's a fantastic pedal. There's so much scope there with the EQ. Let's try pushing the bass control up a little bit, experiment with that. And push the color control. Let's now cut the bass out slightly. So now we're going to pull the gain control down and go onto the neck humbucker, see if we can get sort of a little bit more of a natural sort of woody tone. Let's have a listen to some single coil tones. Going to split the pickups on this guitar. Push the gain ever so slightly. It's a really fantastic pedal. Lots of different sounds that you can make with this pedal. And one thing I like about it is the kind of transparent nature of the pedal. Whilst there is control with the color and the bass control, it's not really overpowering. Some pedals for me, I hate when you turn them on and they've got like, they do weird things to the low end. Having this bass control really gives you a lot of additional control over the low end. So now with the wonders of video editing, I've jumped behind and turned the gain control up slightly on my mini rec. I'm still on the clean channel, but the push clean setting. Let's have a listen. You know, I've got a little bit more gain, a little bit more drive to my sound, but being the clean channel, you get that sort of slight low end push starts to come in. It starts to get a little bit woolly sounding. So let's have a listen to the Belle and use it as a boost control and try and tighten up that low end. So I've engaged the pedal. I'm going to drop the gain down, turn the volume control up so we're sending a bit more signal into the amp. You can hear we're getting a little bit more gain out of the amp, but it's still got that slightly woolly low end. So I'm going to pull out some of that with the bass control. I'm going to push the color control, see if I can get a little bit more sparkle to the sound. I've gone from this, slightly pushed amp with a bit too much low end, to this. We can, of course, there's truckloads of gain now that we can add. So you can see it's really changed the sound of the amplifier, or it's just kind of tightened the sound of the amplifier up. It's given me a lot more gain, and it's also got rid of some of that kind of woolly low end that you get when you start to push clean channels. So it's a really useful pedal in terms of being used as a boost and a way of tightening up the sound of your amp. Okay, so just one last thing we're going to do on that current setting. I'm going to push in the gain control. That little control on the side which alters the clipping and the compression. For me, that's starting to really sound nice. I'm just going to drop some of the gain down actually. Okay, so from this sound, this was the pushed amp. Engage the pedal, we got more gain and we got a slightly tighter low end. So hopefully you can hear from that short demo, you can get lots of different tones from this pedal, from very mild overdrive all the way up to medium driven sounds. And if you use it in conjunction with a slightly driven amp, you can really help to push your amp as well as cleaning up the EQ. Okay, so I hope you've enjoyed this demo. As ever with my videos, if you enjoyed the demo track that you heard at the beginning of this video, be sure to click the link in the description where you can get the free tab, the free guitar profile, and also the backing track as well. So also follow the links in the description where you can head over to the Wampler website and check out more details on the Belle Overdrive. But as ever, I love this pedal. I've got a large collection of Wampler pedals that, you know, some I use more than others, but this really is a very organic sounding pedal. It's a really transparent pedal and would make a great addition to any pedal board. Anyway, that's it from me, and I look forward to seeing you here very soon for more demos and more lessons. Bye for now.